Good morning, everybody. Before we get going with this video, I just want to do a quick shout out to Patriot. He's a friend of mine, a really great guy. He's a fairly new YouTube channel. He's got some great content though. Please stop by there, hit the subscribe button, the like button, show him some love. Tell him I sent you over there, and please stop by, show Will some love. Really good guy. His name says it all, Patriot. He doesn't get much better than that, right? It's Patriot. That's all you need to know. The rest you'll find out when you watch his channel. Go subscribe to him. Anyway, next. Today we're going to do one of those refresher videos. I want to talk a little bit about martial arts, fighting, taking a hit, preparing yourself to do so, all that good stuff. Now, I said many times, everybody should take some martial arts. It's good to take a few different ones. The more you know, the better off you'll be. However, this is not UFC, guys. This is the real world. So you got to take martial arts that... I don't want to have an argument about what's better than the other, because one's not necessarily better than the other. Everything just has different applications. Just like tools in a toolbox. Different wrenches, different pliers, hammers, screwdrivers, all that stuff have their different purposes, different things you use them for. That same thing applies to martial arts. It's all different martial arts out there. Now, there's some that will work better for others, depending on your physical capabilities, depending on your size, stuff like that. There's different martial arts that might be more beneficial to you than others. For those of you just starting out, obviously, most people can't afford to take 5-6 different martial arts classes because they can get expensive. Private lessons are best, but they tend to be the most money. But you can usually get group lessons, guys. Usually $20-$25 a lesson is what it comes out to if you're taking like a group class with other people. Individual lessons can range anywhere from $70 to $150 an hour for personal or private lessons. There are some people out there that will teach you for free in your area. If you can look around and find them, you might be able to find them. You also want to learn from somebody reputable. You don't also want to go to a school that's going to claim they're going to give you a black belt after 2 years. Well, I know somebody out there is probably going to disagree with this. You do not know enough to have a black belt after 2 years of once a week at 30 minutes a week. 30-45 minutes a week classes. You're not going to learn enough to get your belt in 2 years. A lot of schools out there are all about this, guys, all about the money. So they just want to get you in and move you up, keep you. Oh, I got my green belt, I got my blue belt, my purple belt, and you get all excited, and then you get your ass kicked because you think you know what you're doing. It's also got to become second instinct, guys. That's a lot of things people don't understand. Until you use it, you need to spar. You need to go to a school that will let you spar, or have an instructor that will spar with you. Know how to spar properly so you guys don't really hurt each other. But for instance, if you're doing jiu-jitsu, and by jiu-jitsu I mean standard traditional jiu-jitsu, just for the record out there, for some people don't know this, and I'm not being insulting, but some people just don't know this, that jiu-jitsu is not just on the ground. People think UFC, and the biggest thing right now is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Everybody wants to roll around on the ground, and there's nothing wrong with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But a lot of the same principles of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, in fact, most of them are principles that are the same as traditional Jiu-Jitsu, which is on your feet, which can also be taken. You can take somebody to the ground with it. That happens all the time. But right, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is not for everybody, and it should not be your primary form of self-defense. I'm sorry. There's so many Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys out there that are going to disagree with me on this, but it's the last place, for instance. If you're not a very big guy, it could be helpful, but it could also be a bad thing. If you're fairly small and you're fairly light, the last thing you want to be is rolling around the ground with a guy that's 220 pounds if you weigh 140 pounds or 130 pounds. Trust me, you try to roll around a guy. I'm not saying you can't do it. You try to do that with a guy that's 2-3 times your size and weight. You want to know another martial arts that could take him down. You want to know another arm of fighting. Of course, avoiding conflict is the best way of fighting, is to avoid conflict, but you can't always avoid it. Now, as far as as far as choosing a school, you want to choose a school or somebody that's got a good reputation. Take the time to research the school, the instructors. I have a few different belts in different martial arts, and everybody that I trained under mainly 3 different people that were, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th Dan black belts in different martial arts. If they're only a first degree or second degree, I'm not saying they don't know what they're doing, but that's probably, if you want to really learn the good stuff, you probably want to go with somebody that's a little higher up. Because generally speaking, most schools will take, most business martial arts schools will have their black belts as part of their training, will be teaching for free. They're not getting paid to do it. It's part of their black belt training. They'll be teaching as brown belts. Sometimes they'll put them in what's called a leadership program, all different kinds of names they have for it. So you really want to take the time to learn. I'm not saying these guys didn't teach you. Everybody had to go through that too. Everybody has to go through that when they're working on their black belts. A lot of times one of the requirements is you have to teach some classes. But if you can get private lessons with a real grandmaster or something, that's really the way to go. Now, something else to keep in mind. I'm not saying that you can take some classes and you can learn some basic stuff that will help you. You don't necessarily need to go spend a lifetime in martial arts. I still take all these classes. I actually teach martial arts and fighting classes to people, and I teach them for free. I don't charge people in my area, especially people that are going into the military. I don't charge them. If you want to learn and I have the time, I will teach you and I won't charge you. That's the way I work. There are other people like me out there, guys. Believe it or not, we do exist. Most of us usually offer that type of free training to those going into the military and law enforcement because we want to help keep the people that protect us safe. That's kind of how it works. It's kind of like a brotherhood type of thing, I guess, in a sense. But I pretty much offer it for free to anybody. As long as you got the desire to do it and you want to learn to protect yourself, I don't charge people. And there are people out there that will do that for you as well. You just might be a little harder to find in your area. There might not be any in your area, depending on where you live. When you're choosing a martial arts, guys, if you can, verse yourself in a few different styles. Some of the ones I would recommend taking, judo, jiu-jitsu. Try to stay away from aikido. It's basically similar to jiu-jitsu, but it's a lot, it's something that, until you get maybe a little self-versed a little bit more in jiu-jitsu first, then you can maybe mess with aikido. Muay Thai is great. If you can even have somebody teach you some boxing, that's great. There's a martial art out there called V-Jitsu, which is one of my favorites, one of the ones that I've taken for the longest, which is a combination of different things. There's not a lot of V-Jitsu schools out there, but you can find them. They teach that V-Jitsu is a great martial arts because it's a combination of karate, jiu-jitsu, judo, and also there's some elements of some other martial arts in there as well. That's a great one for everybody to have because it's pretty. Again, it's called V-Jitsu, V-E-E, Jitsu. It's a pretty well-versed martial arts. A lot of different styles involved in one martial art, which is good. It doesn't hurt also to take Tai Chi, believe it or not. It's really good for your mind, good for calming you down, especially before training. Also, physical fitness is pretty important, guys. If you're going to get into martial arts, you should keep yourself physically fit as best as you can. Because, especially if you're learning from a good school, especially if you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're going to be putting holds, you're going to be putting arm bars and wrist locks. You're going to be thrown to the ground, not aggressively enough to really hurt you, but a good instructor is going to want you to feel the thump, what it feels like to get put down. He's going to teach you how to fall properly, so in the fall, and there's those things called rollouts after you fall, how you can roll out of the fall to get back up. They're going to teach you those things, and sometimes they're painful lessons. They can be painful lessons, and if they're not painful lessons, then you're not really learning properly. That's the way I always felt about it. You're going to need to wear your gear just like a boxer. When a boxer spars to learn to box, you're going to be doing the same thing if you really want to learn. You got to learn how to take a hit. And just so everybody knows, a fight, generally speaking, doesn't last 10 minutes. It's not the movies. It's not Jean-Claude Van Damme, and you guys are going to stand there and kick each other for 20 minutes. In a real-world situation, real-world fight, it's like that. fact, we were talking about this not too long ago over in our Backwards Laws chat. I forgot who it was that brought it up, but they were talking about a lot of different things, situational awareness, and they were talking about martial arts and things like that. And somebody brought up how fast it happens, and it happens fast. And those 30 seconds that the fight lasts. If your fight lasts a minute, it's a long fight. It shouldn't last that long anyway, because your assailant should be put down hard and made sure it doesn't get back up. That's a conversation for a different time. Fight lasts, a 30-second fight is going to feel like an hour. When you're done with it, you're probably going to feel like you've been up all night drinking. You're going to be dazed. You're going to be hyped up. When you come down from it, it's going to be like you're going to be exhausted. It's very different than the movies. And getting hit sucks. Be prepared to take a hit. I'm not saying you should have some walk around and have them just off big guys to knock you out, but be prepared to take a hit. It hurts. It's important. Also, take martial arts. If you're taking martial arts, take it long enough. Work on it, spar, develop the second instinct. Martial arts does not work without a second instinct. You need that second instinct. It has to become natural to you to know how to defend yourself. That's why it's important to take different styles, because you can adapt to different things. Also, you don't want to box a boxer if you can avoid it. You don't want to do jiu-jitsu with the jiu-jitsu man. You don't want to be doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu with the Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. You don't want to wrestle a wrestler. You don't want to be kicking with a taekwondo guy. That's something that you guys, one of the reasons you need to take different martial arts. The reason I say that, and anybody else who's a martial artist or takes knows this type of stuff will also tell you that they know how to counter what you do, and they know how to counter. That's why it's difficult to fight those same guys in the same styles. You'd be better off with a different style against a different style. That you're probably more successful. Not always. At the same token, if you know their style, you know how to counter what they're going to do, right? So it works both ways. But a good thing to remember is, generally speaking, you like I said, you don't want to box a boxer. You don't want to kick with a taekwondo guy. You want to be able to take them down in a style that they're not going to be expecting, or they're not trained to counter. All right, that's it. That's all I have for you guys for today. Just a little refresher course. I'm sorry I haven't been doing videos lately. I've been busy, as you guys all know. But one last time, have a happy Sunday, everybody. Please stop by Will Patriot's channel. I'm going to leave a link in the description box below. Show him some love. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button for him. Good guy. You guys will like him. Trust me. You guys know me. I wouldn't refer you to anybody that wasn't good. So stop by. Check him out. All right, everybody. Stay safe. God bless you. Have a great, happy, healthy Sunday. The rest of your upcoming work week and yada, yada, yada. All right, everybody. Take care. Have a great day.